If you do a good job as a parent, your kids turn into adults. How do I help my grown child make better choices for their future? Hi, I'm Dr. Paul Jenkins, a clinical psychologist specializing with positive family relationships. And this one comes up a lot. My own kids are grown as well. I've got some powerful tips for you, but it comes with a warning, so do not leave this video until you get the warning. Let's lay some groundwork here first. As parents, we develop habits of control. If you haven't noticed this yet, your kids probably have, and they can tell that there's a control battle that develops sometimes between parents and kids. This is natural because when your kids are little, remember when they were babies, you had to do everything for them. You're controlling literally every aspect of their life. All they can do is make a big noise and a big stink, and that's about it. So you're handling everything else. Well, when they start to get older, they start to take more control over their life. That's not natural for us as parents. It's not natural for us to let go of that control just because our kids are getting older. Now, when they become adults, those young adult years are so interesting because they haven't yet got to the point where they can do everything for themselves necessarily, but they still want the independence. I remember when my youngest, my daughter, turned 21. And she came to me and proudly announced, "Dad, I'm an adult." And then she got this nervous look on her face as she said, "But I'm a baby adult," because she wasn't quite ready to take it all on. And as parents, we get into the habit of taking control or being in charge of it or calling the shots. And that's hard to give up. So just notice that that's happening. I'm not saying that it's bad or that it's wrong. I'm just saying, yeah, that's part of the deal. Let's notice it. The question is, how do I help my grown child make better choices for their future? I have a question for you. Did they ask you for help? That's an important question. Usually the answer to that is no, they haven't asked. And most of the young adults that I interview aren't interested in your opinions about what they should be doing. Does this sound familiar? Connect with that for a minute. If they're not asking for help, why are you feeling so inclined to give it? Let's acknowledge at this point what your job is. Your job is to love them, no matter what, and even if. Now, do we need to play the even if game? Even if they choose something that you don't approve of? Even if they take on a life's occupation that you don't think is completely what they're capable of, even if they hate you. And I use these because I'm totally not making them up. These are things that I talk to my clients about on a daily basis. It comes up in our coaching calls. These things are happening, and you recognize this. Okay, your job is to love them, no matter what, and even if. They're going to go make their choices. Your job doesn't change. You get to love them. Even if they're in jail, yes. Even if they hurt you in some way, yes. It's still your job to love them, no matter what and even if. Now, I know I'm making a big deal out of that, but this is so essential to where we need to go with the next part of our conversation. So connect to that. Your job is to love them, no matter what and even if. Hopefully that comes as a relief, too. A lot of the parents that I'm coaching express that when they latch onto that idea, it's like, oh, well, I can do that. That's easy. That's part of why we're going to start there. Let me contrast this with what we think our job is sometimes. We might think that our job is to make sure that they, now you fill in the blanks. Make sure that they're happy? Really? Can you make sure that they're happy? How's that going for you? How about make sure that they choose good choices? Hang out with good friends. Make sure that they apply themselves well in their schooling or education. Make sure that they get a job. Make sure that they produce or contribute to society in responsible ways. Do you hear the theme? Make sure that they. Notice how exhausting that job is. And you suck at it. You're not very good at this. Have you noticed? You can't make sure that they. This is in their control. And that's why I emphasize your job is to love them, no matter what and even if. Okay, now, you're going to have thoughts about, but what about? I know. And here's the catch. When you do your job well, when you choose to love them no matter what and even if, you are going to feel some pain. I know, I'm sorry. I can't change that. When you love your kids, the most painful thing in the world is to watch them running off of a cliff or throwing away an opportunity or experiencing pain and difficulty in their own life. It's just an indicator that you're doing your job. If you do your job well, you will feel some pain. Why is that important? Because our brain is designed to protect us from pain. And what that means is, as parents, sometimes we become over-controlling, over-involved, micromanaging. Why? To avoid our own pain. Let's be real about that. I invite you to go deep on this, to take a look inside of your own heart and mind. You become over-controlling to avoid your own pain of seeing your kids in pain. But it's not working. It doesn't work. Have you noticed it just creates more conflict? So we're going to let go of that. What this means is you get to start feeling whatever you're going to feel as you choose to continue to love your young adult child, regardless of what their choices are. Be ready for the ride. Buckle up. I remember telling Vicky this when our youngest turned 21. I said, honey, buckle up, because we're not driving, but you sure as heck are along for the ride, aren't you? Connect with that, if you would, at some level, because when you realize that you're doing it to avoid your own pain, it's going to put you in a position to have much more powerful, impactful, and influential behaviors toward your child, who is now no longer a child. They're an adult, let's face it. So you get to approach them very differently than when they were little and you controlled everything. Brace yourself. And now that you're buckled up, I'm going to let you in on something. Your grown child doesn't want your help. Now, maybe they do in some ways, but let them ask for it when they want it. If you're trying to impose it, and it's unwanted, you will get pushback, you will get the resistance, and it will hurt your relationship. So let's back off of the control. We're not going to try to make sure that they anything. And we'll shift our focus now over to influence and communication. Now, communication deserves its own full-on training. And I've developed a little cheat sheet for you. So I like to give away freebies when I'm trying to help you with these principles. The URL on your screen right now will take you right to a free communication cheat sheet. I've put this together for you with a couple of tips that are going to help on the communication front. And we'll handle that in some other videos as well. But go grab it, okay? drpauljenkins.com/communication. I'll get that right to your inbox, and that's going to help with the communication piece. Now, a little word about influence. You do have influence. You don't have control. Okay, once they become adults, they're kind of running the show for themselves. You do continue to have influence. And this is an important asset to you as a parent. You think about the people who have influenced you, okay? They are not trying to control your life, are they? No. The people who have the most profound influence on you are sincerely interested in you. They care about how you feel about yourself. They're invested in your choices for yourself without trying to influence them. And it's interesting that those who are not trying to influence us often have the greatest influence. Follow that clue a little bit. You can have a position with your young adult children where they look to you as a wise mentor, someone that they want to tap into, but they can also fire you completely. Because they're in a position where they can control their own life now, they can shut you out. They can turn you off. And we don't want that to happen because we love them, right? Your job is to love them no matter what and even if. Give up on the control, shift over to communication and influence. Work on that relationship because that's what gives them the reason to stay connected to you. You don't have to lose this relationship, but you will have to give up on the control. I'm going to give you 3 messages that you can replace the control with. Before I do that, if this really resonates with you, would you do 2 things? Click that subscribe button. I promise I will bring you additional videos that are going to help you in this process on a weekly basis. New content all the time. And would you also think about who do you know who could use this information as well, and just share this video with them. Now let's get to those 3 messages. The 3 messages I would encourage you to use with all of your kids really, but especially with your grown children. Message number 1, we've already talked about. I love you no matter what and even if. Make that a consistent, strong message that you deliver in so many ways that there is no question in their mind that you love them unconditionally. That's message number 1. Message number 2, if you have any questions, ask. Now notice this is very different from trying to jump in or insert yourself or micromanage or control. You're simply saying, hey, I'm here. I've been around the block a few times. You're not going to cram it down their throats. If you have any questions, ask. Message number 3, good luck. Yeah, that's it. Good luck. You're driving your life. I'm driving mine. It's going to be hard out there, but I trust you to make good decisions for yourself. Good luck with that. And don't forget messages 1 and 2. I love you no matter what and even if. And if you have any questions, ask. How does that feel to you? Does that feel so much better than trying to control things, which you're really not very good at anyway? Let's finish with a warning. And this is an important warning. If your agenda is to change their behavior, they will smell that from a mile away, and you will get resistance. You should get resistance to that because that's kind of a controlling approach. If your agenda is to change their behavior, they will push back, guaranteed. That's the warning. So look inside of yourself. Let's see if we can get your agenda back to loving them no matter what and even if. Be ready for the pain that comes because it's guaranteed. And then let's shift over to communication and influence as you send those 3 powerful messages. I love you no matter what and even if. If you have any questions, ask. Good luck. I told you I'm not going to leave you hanging. Next up for you is 3 big skills every parent of a young adult must know and master. Cue that one up next. Let's continue this conversation.